everyone, and welcome to another game of World of Warships. Today it's one of my replays and I'm in the Yodo, a Tier 10 Japanese light cruiser. I'm on the map Sea of Fortune. It's a 3-point domination game, pure Tier 10 battle, with no carrier. Unfortunately there is a submarine though. Now the Yodo is the newest line that has been released, and I mean, it's not the greatest ship out there. So Yodo is, I mean, it's playable, it's just not all that good. There are a lot of downsides that this thing has. One of them is it's massive. As you can probably see, despite it being a light cruiser, it's very large. It's not that well armored, and it handles like a brick, so it doesn't turn very well. It means you can't really dodge shells all that well. Now, it comes with 18 kilometers of range, which is pretty decent, I suppose, especially for a load of small caliber guns. The problem is, you can see the shell travel time, and you can see how long it takes those shells to reach and how floaty they are. And there was an entire salvo that just missed. It's like, at this range, you might even have trouble hitting battleships if they maneuver. So, while you do have quite a bit of range, you can't use it all that well. But since you are so massive, you don't want to get too close because you are easily hit. Of course, there are always islands. Then again, because you're so massive, you'll have a hard time hiding behind islands. There's also the fact that you do have torpedoes with 15 kilometer range. While they aren't really the fastest torpedoes also, they do hit quite hard since they are Japanese torpedoes. And I have actually spec'd into those torps. I have a feeling this ship was designed to make use of its torpedoes. And the guns are deliberately a bit lackluster because you're supposed to compensate with torps, which is sometimes working. Anyhow. No, speaking of guns again, you do have a lot of guns, but, you know, they are 150 millimeters, they have 30 mil of base pen, 12% chance to cause a fire here. Of course, I have fire flags and so on. And I'm not running RFAG. Now, if you can catch a destroyer full broadside, oh, there is a sub, so let's drop it. That's also a good, some good news. You do have actually depth charge planes and not depth charges dropped in the back. That means you might even be able to hurt a sub now and then. So yeah, I lost my train of thought there. So I think this ship was designed to hit with torpedoes as well as its guns, and that means you can't just sit behind an island because then you're only relying on your gun power, but you are also not that great for open water gunboating, so it's just like this ship doesn't have a very well thought out design. So it's a bit of a weird thing. You do have quite a few hit points, but you know, they don't matter that much when you get the crap citadel out of you. Now I am pushing closer to that submarine. I got my hydro running. Obviously I can't hydro it unless it's within 2 kilometers or it surfaces. But there you go. Now I can shoot this Hindenburg in theory. The problem is there's a poison coming around here on the other side. So if I shoot right now I'll be detected and I'll be broadside in front of the poison. So maybe let's not do that. Oh, the submarine went within 2 kilometers of me. How nice. Now let's drop it here. I got my next set of depth charges almost ready. It looks like it's going to surface. I mean, if it manages to surface, it could potentially shotgun me. Because, I mean, look at this. If it surfaces here and gets its torps off, I'm probably dead, but I got it first. Oof, and that poison died. And I'm getting torps into the Yamato. This is turning out real good. So yeah, Yodo is weird. That's my assessment of it. It's certainly playable, it's not the greatest ship. In many ways, you'd be better off just playing a Sao instead. But it has an odd charm, or maybe I just like weird, I don't know. Oh, another good thing, you have good torpedo angles. So there is that. And yeah, like, if you can catch, like, a destroyer with a full broadside, it's most certainly gonna hurt it. Of course, that would mean being relatively close, exposing yourself. It's not like you have the best angles for all of your turrets either. And if you had, like, a destroyer that provides smoke for you to hide in, well, while you do have a Hydra, keep in mind you don't maneuver very well and you're a very large target. So dodging torps coming for a smoke would also not be the easiest task. Meanwhile, this battle seems to be going really well. We have 2 of the 3 camps, we're gonna get the third too because, well, nobody's there anymore. And all the enemies are just plopping up pointlessly at the same spot. So yeah, your gun reload is pretty bad, but that's because you have a lot of guns, I suppose. And that Hindenburg's then. Well, you know, I think it's time to just go YOLO. Like, we are winning this pretty heavily at this point. All the enemies are at one spot. Maybe it's time to test the armor. Spoiler, it doesn't have any. Now, honestly, I should heal. I do have more than enough heal charges left. Even though I might not get that much out of this one heal, right? There is no point in not healing right now. Especially since I want to charge in, so I could heal now and start the cooldown and have it ready next when my YOLO actually begins. I was waiting for the trader to be over here before I want to cross this gap. And then I shot and got myself detected anyway. Because apparently the Halland is here. So the theory was, right, I'm easily citadeled here, so I wanted to not be detected during this crossing. But, you know, we don't know where the Halland is. I guess it's spotting me somewhere. Stalingrad is down. I've managed to go into concealment again. And as you can see, I'm not having the best luck hitting that core first. Like, I mean, even if you hit, you don't really have the best penetration. Now, you could go for IFAG. You better farm battleship noses and sterns. But then you would cut down on your fire chance. And I'd much rather... Like, I think 30 pen is sort of enough. And then you're better off just hoping for the fires. Especially since IFAG costs me 4 points. And I'd much rather invest into something else like torpedoes. Of course... there might be better ways to spec these ships than I have. But so far I'm doing fine. I've played 19 battles in this, I think. Anyway, so we got the Halland here, and now this Kremlin is actually sailing into those torps. Yeah, I'm getting a fair share of torpedoes this battle, and I think the Yodo, as I said, it's like the Chinan. The Chinan was designed to get hits with its torpedoes, and it has a very lacking main armament because of it. The Yodo was sort of designed to get hits with its torpedoes, so it has a bit of a lacking main armament because of it. The Dutch cruisers were designed to hit stuff with their airstrike, so they have a bit... See where this is going, right? Basically... in the last years, there have been a fair share of disappointing lines released. The Yodo is just one of many. It's a playable ship that's not the most exciting. It's sort of weird. And I don't know, something of that weird appeals to me. So I just want to make it work. And it's not going that badly, overall. Now I still have some torps going. I could be hitting the Yamato. Unfortunately, a sinking ship here has blocked some of them. There is a Halland inside A. Now I'm just gonna charge this Yamato. I don't know why I'm still alive, mind you. Usually if you charge like I have, you'd have sunk like minutes ago. Now the Halland is even pummeling me with armor piercing, cause I mean I'm a Yodo. So I'm angling a little bit against it, while also trying to get my torps off against the Yamato. Now maybe I should have just gone full broadside and got more shells into the Halland. But as you saw there, I got a very nice hit into it. You can punish destroyers heavily in this thing. Then again, I mean, could do the same in a SAO, I suppose. But the sheer amount of shells you have, they hurt. If you manage to get them all into something. Oh well. So yeah, Yodo. My assessment, a weird brick that has an odd charm to it. And somehow I just want to make it work. And it is somewhat working, you know. So there is that. But I wouldn't mind if it got some love, because it's clearly not one of the best ships out there. Anyway. So here we are with the results, and obviously I did quite well in this one, but I also got quite a few torpedo hits, and that's my experience with this ship. If you don't get any torpedo hits, the games will be a little bit disappointing. I mean, I've topped the scoreboard with guns alone, but they weren't that impressive numbers, and I could have done the same thing a lot easier in a different ship. So there is that. It's a ship that's weird. It's reliant on its torpedoes, and those torpedoes will not always deliver. So yeah, it could use some love, but knowing Wargaming, they'll just ignore it and make the next disappointing line instead. So, hope you guys enjoyed watching this video, and I'll see you next time.